Welcome to TruPowur, home of the most powerful marketing tools, training, and technology on planet Earth. Get ready to earn, enjoy, and experience more than you ever dreamed was possible. If you're tired of just getting by and ready to really thrive, then buckle in and listen up. Here's your host, Matt Fox.
And welcome this fine day. Today on TruPowur Academy, we are going to be talking about and delving a little deeper into understanding a fixed all-in and how that's valuably important, not only to you, but understanding how to calculate that and to be able to convey that message to your customers. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen and show you where you can find additional information about the fixed all-in rate. If you come up to where it says tips, right at the top, you'll see it says fixed all-in explained. And so it's really important to understand that there are different components to the fixed all-in rate. So what is included in a fixed all-in rate?
When you see an electric rate labeled as fixed all-in, it typically includes the following components. 1. Fixed energy rate. The cost per kilowatt-hour remains constant throughout the term of the contract, regardless of fluctuations in energy prices in the market. 2. Delivery and transmission charges. These cover the cost of delivering electricity from power plants to your home via the electric grid. These charges are included in the all-in aspect, meaning they are bundled into the total rate you pay. 3. Distribution fees. These fees are charged by your local utility company to distribute electricity to your home. They are also usually bundled into a fixed rate. 4. Taxes and surcharges. Any state or local taxes, as well as surcharges for maintaining or improving the grid, may be included in the all-in pricing. 5. Administrative fees. Some plans include various administrative fees, e.g. billing, customer service, which might be part of the all-in rate. A fixed all-in electric contract is an electricity plan that provides a set rate per kilowatt-hour for the duration of the contract. The all-in rate is calculated by dividing the total cost over the contract term by the total kilowatt-hour used. This rate includes the following: monthly energy fees or base charges, monthly energy credits, energy rate, transmission TDU-TDSP monthly fixed fees, transmission TDU-TDSP rate. In short, a fixed all-in rate simplifies your billing by combining all the various charges into one predictable fixed rate per kilowatt hours, shielding you from unexpected fluctuations in the market or fees during the contract term.
So the all-in calculation is by taking and dividing the total cost of the contract term by the kWh that is used. So the rate included in the following month and fees and so forth. So you take that total and divide it by the usage. And so in short, a fixed all-in rate simplifies the customer's billing by combining all of the various charges into one predictable fixed rate kWh, basically shielding them from unexpected fluctuations in the market. So sometimes a customer may challenge you with that and say, well, on my bill, I have a fixed all-in rate, but I can see that I'm being charged for all of these other ancillary services. So let's take a look at a bill and break that down a little bit. So here I have a bill, and you can see that the total for this bill is $1,200. And depending on the supplier or the utility, bills may vary on the way that they look. Typically, when you look at a supplier rate for the kWh, it'll usually be in one of the line items here. Here you can see for ComEd, they put the price to compare. The ComEd electric supply price to compare is 6.94 cents per kWh. So when a customer is looking at the bill and they say, I'm only paying 6.94 cents. They're only talking about a portion of that. My bill says I'm only paying 6.94 cents. What we need to do is to be able to calculate that to find out what the true fixed all in, because that's only the supplier side and not all of the other ancillary services that are included as a typical all in. So we can see a couple things. One is that this customer has paid $1,245. And we also can see that the customer has used 12,780 kWh per year or per month. And so we need to be able to calculate that. So let's take the simple 12,780 per month times 12 is 153,360 kWh per year. The bill is $1,245.78. I typically don't worry about the cents. And the supplier rate is showing 6.94. So if we take the dollars right here and we divide that, so let's grab a calculator real quick. And we take the total and divide that by the total kWh that is being used, you're going to see that their real cost is 9.74. So that's really important to keep in mind. So that's going to be their actual rate if it were a fixed all in, because that's going to include everything that is on the bill. So 9.74 is going to be inclusive as to what this cost and the total usage. So if we jump back over to our quick launch menu and go into the pricing platform, there's a couple things that I want to point out. So let's go into the pricing platform. First off, let's take the rate that the supplier is saying that they're charging. And so if we go in here and click on instant quote, put in the zip code, put in the usage, which is, when we look at usage, we always calculate out what the annual usage is. And then here we have 6.94. And so that is going to go in here to where price to compare. So what the supplier is saying is, this is the price to compare. That is what's on the bill right here. The price to compare is 6.94. And so what we want to do is be able to put the zip code in, put their total annual usage in, and what they're currently paying. The problem is we're not looking at the entire bill. We're only looking at the supplier side. So when we are going to calculate a fixed all-in rate, we need to kind of compare that apples, oranges to oranges. And so that's why it's really important to be able to take the total amount of dollars, divide it by the kWh in order to get an accurate number. I can see that there is a red asterisk up here, which means that there is a forward month that's a little bit better. So let's take advantage of that. That'll make that asterisk go away. We'll leave the mills set at 5, which is the default on the platform. And let's just come down and take a peek at this. Now, the first 3 entries that you're going to see are always going to be the best available plans, starting with the best overall. You'll see the banners over there on the left-hand corner, best medium term, best long-term term. So you're typically going to see 3 of the best at the top. But if you come down below that, you're going to see all of the rest of the plans that are available. So right here, you can see that we're looking at 76 total plans. If I want to look at all of them, all I need to do is go over here to where it says filter terms, select all, and then that's going to jump up to 84. So added some extra ones in there, but by putting in what the customer or what the supplier is saying that the price to compare is, we can see that obviously the price to compare is below what we're showing on the screen. But you have to remember, this is for a fixed all-in term of 60 months. So we need to convert that number up here to a fixed all-in equivalent. And so in order to do that, we need to take that fixed all-in number after calculation and then put that into the pricing platform. So when we do that and hit update, come down, and now we can see that I'm going to be able to take this customer and actually save them $2,900 and make a couple grand doing it. So it's really important to know how to calculate that to make sure that you're using the most accurate numbers. Same thing when you're talking to a residential customer and we use the script where, if your rate is lower than what we have to offer, then our company will give you some sort of special incentive for taking advantage of it. It's important to make sure that you're comparing things equally. So from up here, you can see that there are a lot of different types of services fixed all in. And so anytime you see a little video link, that is going to give you some additional information. And so let's take a look at this just for a moment, and then we'll be right back.
When looking at quotes, there are different product types available for your customers. Let's have a look at them and when they should be used. There are 6 common products you'll encounter when searching for electricity quotes. A fixed all-in or fixed all-inclusive product contains all pricing components wrapped into the rate as shown. Because of this, fixed all-in rates are considered premium as they cover components that have potential to fluctuate or vary. With capacity unbundled, capacity is passed through and fixes all other supply pricing components such as transmission, ancillary, energy, and line losses. When capacity charges are passed through, the rate is typically fixed at an optimal sub-premium price. Customers who believe they're able to lower their capacity over the life of the contract are a great fit for this product. Congestion pass-through is only available for customers within ERCOT. To understand this product, you must first understand grid congestion. Grid congestion arises when there are transmission constraints or a lack of transmission line capacity to deliver electricity without exceeding voltage limits. The voltage limits are in place to ensure grid reliability. To maintain system integrity, ERCOT may direct certain generators to either cut back or increase production and thus help alleviate congested segments. When generators are asked to adjust their dispatch levels, ERCOT pays them for doing so, and these costs are passed on to the end users. The difference between the average market price of power within a zone and the average price of power at each end-use node zone becomes the cost of congestion passed on to the end user. This product does not fix the cost of congestion in your supply rate, but rather passes it through. The cost of congestion is often minimal and can make sense to pass this through for customers who have a higher risk tolerance and do not wish to pay the premium of fixing it. Index Plus fixes the price for all supply components except the cost of energy. This includes transmission, capacity, line losses, and ancillaries. The cost of energy is passed through at the market rate and can be purchased and fixed in blocks when necessary. This product is only ideal for customers that wish to have an active hand in managing their energy costs on a daily basis and have a very high risk tolerance. Energy Only allows customers to minimize their exposure to the energy market by fixing the largest component of the supply spend, energy. While energy is fixed, other components are variable. In other words, the energy portion of supply cost, which typically accounts for 60% of supply spend, is fixed, and other components like ancillary, transmission, capacity, and line losses are passed through. This product is right for customers that would like some budget certainty but are not looking to pay the premium associated with fixing all components. Index adder only fixes both the supplier and broker margins while passing through all other components of supply at market settlement prices. This product should be managed carefully and can be paired with a fixed block when necessary. Customers best fit for this product have a high risk tolerance and understand the volatility of the energy markets. Now let's look at natural gas products and what to consider. NYMEX Plus has two primary cost components, the New York Mercantile Exchange and basis. NYMEX is the commodity cost or actual cost of gas and is based on the price of gas at the Henry Hub. Basis refers to the regional difference in price of the NYMEX at the Henry Hub and can be an additional adder or discount to the NYMEX price. The basis price can vary widely and is determined by regional supply and demand factors. Because basis is locked in at a fixed rate, monthly regional price risks are eliminated and NYMEX component floats month over month. Like the NYMEX product, for Index Plus, an index contract structure is determined monthly but is based on a specific region of the country, eliminating the Henry Hub pricing factor. The index price can vary substantially both monthly and seasonally based on supply and demand factors in that region. The index structure typically allows end-user flexibility to adjust monthly contract volumes before the index is determined. This can be an advantage to end users that don't have a predictable load or usage profile. The index contract provides assurance that firm supply will be available without entering into an agreement for more supply than what is required for the facility.
So hopefully that was a little more helpful. I am going to include that in the TruPowur Academy. Those are the different areas where you can select the different types of contracts. I would say that the mass majority of the customers that we deal with, we're dealing with on a fixed all-in rate in order to reduce their exposure to risk in the marketplace. So when somebody has an index rate or you're looking at their bill and you can see that this is obviously either this one particularly has a variable rate where they use so much energy and then they are given something else. Sometimes when you're looking at a customer's bill or the rate that they're given, a lot of times suppliers will use what is called an introductory rate. So they'll give them a rate which will allow them to potentially feel like they're saving a lot of money, but in 3 months, that thing jacks up to a much higher rate. And then when you start adding in some of the other ancillary delivery costs and taxes and fees, they could be paying, I've seen as high as 40 some cents. So it's really kind of ridiculous. So when we talk to a customer, we want to make sure that if we're going to be displaying fixed all-in rates, and to be able to compare that apples to apples, oranges to oranges, you really need to be able to take this bill and calculate that. And you can find that calculation within the quick launch menu. If you go in the scripts area under the electric contract, you'll see at the bottom right down here, it shows how to calculate that. So you take the dollars and divide it by the kWh, and that gives you the comparable fixed all-in rate for that particular customer. So it's really important that you understand how to calculate this so that when you're entering the information into the pricing platform, you're getting the accurate numbers. So at the end of the day, it's about being able to provide value for the customer. But if you're not putting the right information into the pricing platform, it may not appear that you're actually providing any value or the wrong value. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to just make sure that when we're giving that customer rates, because they may be looking at their bill and go, well, I'm showing that I'm paying 6 point something, and you're showing me a rate of 9, and you're raising my rate. You're not saving me any money. Well, yeah, well, take the dollars and cents, divide it by the usage. What are you really paying? Because if you take that usage times 6.94, you're not going to get $1,200, right? So sometimes when you're talking to a customer, it's important that you're looking at the right numbers when you're putting that stuff in. And if you're, a fairly new agent or broker within the system, somebody is going to mentor you through that process when it gets time for you to put those things into the pricing platform to make sure that all of the right information is going in there. Since everything that goes into the pricing platform is never deleted, we want to make sure that we don't put anything in there cockeyed. So if you put it in there messed up, it'll stay in there messed up forever. We don't want to do that. So ultimately, at the end of the day, it's important to be able to convey that message to the customer, give them an accurate rate so that they understand it and break it down, and so that you know how to break that down so that you can explain that to the customer when looking at a rate, which on the surface, if they're looking at the price to compare compared to what you're showing them, it looks like you're trying to trick them, right? Like you're trying to raise their rate 3 cents, and that's not really the case. We want to take the full dollars and divide it by the usage to come up with the accurate number for a fixed all in. So this really only applies to the fixed all in numbers. So I appreciate everybody being on the call. I know it was pretty quick here today, but like always, you don't have to go home, but you can stay here. So have fun storming the castle. Bye now.